Hello and welcome to the Tiggy Team. I'm Tiggy, your host, and today we're going to be ranking every village in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Let's get started. Alright, so first off, we have the Korok Forest. So I'm not actually going to be counting this as a village, even though it does have, like, the Korok people. They kind of live here. But I wouldn't necessarily call it a village, and if it was in my ranking, it would be in last place at number 9. But I don't really know if I'm counting this as a village. It is kind of a settlement, but, it's not anything big. It's really small, and there's not really too many things here, so I don't know if you can really count it as a village. But if it was in my ranking, it would be last place anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Alright, so starting the real ranking off, at number 8, we have Gerudo Town. So I don't really like this village just because it's in the desert, and I don't really like the desert part of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I don't like desert things in a lot of video games, so of course that already puts it down. And I don't know, it looks pretty cool. It's kind of like it looks like kind of an Egyptian settlement. What you'd imagine an Egyptian settlement to kind of look like. It looks pretty cool, of course, but nothing really here. It's in the desert, and you have to wear like special garb to like get into this town, because only like females are allowed into the Gerudo town, which is pretty annoying sometimes. So, it's not my favorite place. And I don't know, it's kind of just boring and confusing to walk around, and there's nothing much here. And may I just say, it hurts your eyes so much. Like, it is so bright. Like, all the sunlight and stuff, it is so bright. And that's just really annoying. So yeah, that is why Gerudo Town is at number 8. Alright, next up we have Goron City at number 7. So this is another place in like a heated region. So you have to be wearing the Flamebreaker armor in order to survive here. Of course, I don't have the Flamebreaker helmet, but the rest of the armor set I do have. So I really like this place because it has like these bridges and stuff, and it's built around like the lava, so you have to kind of walk on all these bridges in order to get around. My complaint is that it feels like the developers kind of just put a bunch of houses randomly, and they didn't really have much of like a smart design for it. Feels like it was like built by a child, if that makes any sense. It was kind of just, they just put houses there. I mean, it looks cool. Like, it looks really cool, and I love like the Goron people. They're these big, like, weird looking dudes, but they're really cool. And it has a really cool shop, which is actually right here. It's kind of like, it's called the Protein Palace. It's kind of like a place where you can cook your food on this little heater thing without having to pay anything, which is really nice. And it's a really cool village overall. Nothing much to it, but it does look cool. It just feels like it was kind of just, there's just buildings basically put there just to kind of look, I don't know, just look cool, and there's nothing really to it. So yeah, that is why Goron City is at number 7 on my list. Alright, at number 6 we have Kakariko Village. So this is a Hylian-based village, which is kind of just the people that just look like normal humans. This is a really cool village. I love the music here, and I love the style. It has a really unique style. I don't necessarily know how to explain it, but it looks really cool. The layout is really, really cool, and has a ton of buildings everywhere that you can walk in and explore. And it has a lot of cool places, including Impa's house up here, which is, it's a main part of the story. Impa is a main part of the story, so that's really cool. And you just have the whole layout of the village. Like, it looks so cool. And the music is awesome. And there's a ton of stuff to do here. You have a ton of shops everywhere. If I can pull it up on my map, you have the general store. You have another general store. You have an inn, and you have an armor shop. So there's a ton of shops everywhere to go to. And overall, this village just has basically everything. And it also has this little painter dude over here, which sends you on a really cool mission to kind of find the Great Fairy Fountain, which is a really cool mission. And other than that, it's kind of just, it's basic, and that's why it's probably down here, is because it looks cool, but there's nothing too outstanding about it. And some of the other villages look a lot cooler and a lot better, in my opinion, and they're just more fun to be at. So yeah, that is why Kakariko Village is at number 6. Alright, at number 5 we have Zora's Domain. So this place is really cool because it kind of looks like a grand palace, and the layout is really cool because it's symmetrical. It's kind of confusing sometimes to walk around and get around places. So the layout is kind of bad, but the layout, like the way you get around, it makes it look like a palace, which is why it's cool. So it's kind of annoying in the way you get around, but it is still a really cool layout, and it looks like an awesome, really cool palace. So I really like it in that way. It looks like a grand place, and the Zora people are really cool. They're kind of like fish creatures. They're really good at swimming, and it's basically like a water element place, which is kind of my one complaint. I wouldn't necessarily call it a complaint, but the one thing that brings it down is probably like just the water element. I don't necessarily like the color scheme. You know, my favorite color is blue, but it doesn't really mean I like this type of blue in the way it is used here. Like, the color scheme is kind of not that cool. You know, the music's really good. It's nice and calm and peaceful, so that's another plus, but the color scheme just brings it down. You know, I'm not a big fan of the fish or ocean or water element as much as I am like other things. You know, a normal village is usually probably better than this, but this is still a really cool village because it just looks so cool and grand and like royal. So that definitely puts it up there. But yeah, that is why Zora's Domain is at number 5. Alright, at number 4 we have Laurelland Village. So right now it's raining, which is kind of sad. So that's kind of annoying. But this village is really cool. I just wish it was bigger, and that's my biggest complaint. I wish it was bigger. The music is awesome, and the style of it is really cool. And I love kind of just the feel of it. It's like a fishing village. You know how I just said I don't really like the fish and ocean style, but I think this does it right, and this does it better than Zora's Domain. Like, this looks really cool, and I like the natural style of it better than Zora's Domain. And yeah, my biggest complaint, which is really annoying, is this village is so small. It has a couple of buildings and a couple of people, like townspeople, and other than that, there's really not much here. You know, what's inside this village is awesome, but I just wish there was more content and more stuff to do here instead of just this tiny little place. But a really cool part is the general store is located over here, so you can like buy stuff basically on the docks, which is really cool. We haven't seen that in another village, so it's really cool, like a really cool place to put a shop. And you know, I just love the style. The music is awesome, and I feel like it does it better than Zora's Domain. I just wish it was bigger. So yeah, that is why Laurelland Village is at number 4 on my list. At number 3, we have Hateno Village. So this is located in the Necluda region, right below Mount Lanaroo, which is a really cool snow mountain. So this is a really cool village. You know, something really cool about it is like how many buildings there are. Like, it's the biggest village in Breath of the Wild. There's just a ton of buildings, and the size of it is really cool, which definitely ups it because of the size. And another big thing that I definitely cannot ignore, and probably one of the biggest reasons, is that you can literally buy your own house here. Link can buy his own house, and he can live here. So there's these people loitering in my front lawn, which is kind of annoying, but it is pretty funny. And this is my own house. So I can put like weapons and a bed and stuff in it. So I've put a bunch of weapons, and I have like supplies, a storage place under the staircase. I have a bed and all this really cool stuff up here. So you can literally buy your house and you can customize it as you like, and it is super cool. And you also get like a apple tree in the back of your yard, which is really cool to have. But this village has a ton of buildings, and definitely it's really cool because you can buy your own house. And in buying your own house, it starts a quest. Of course, buying your own house, but it also starts another quest called Terrytown. I guess it's not really called, the quest itself called Terrytown, but that's what you're going to end up doing, is building Terrytown, which I'm going to talk about later. So this, of course, is like the biggest village in the game. It has a ton of stores and shops everywhere. It has everything you need, and it'd be a great place to live in real life. This is probably where I'd choose to live. the number one spot will probably take that. But if this is my second choice, I probably choose this. And it is a really cool place. There's like a mayor even in this place, and it has everything you need to like survive. It has an inn, general store. It even has a village specific like dye shop where you can dye your clothes into different colors, and it only is in this village. So that is really cool to see. In this village, the music again is great. Like every single village's music is awesome. The music in this game is really cool. And I just love this village because of its size, and of course, you have your own house in it, so that is definitely a really cool plus. So yeah, that is why Hateno Village is at number 3 on my list. At number 2, we have Rito Village. This is a super cool village because it's basically like built on this gigantic rock formation, this little skinny rock that points up into the sky. It's gigantic. As you can see, it goes all the way up there. So this village, it's kind of based on like birds and flying and stuff like that. Like the people that live here, the Rito people, basically look like birds. I'll see if I can show you guys that here. So they look like a bird people, and it's really cool because it's built into this rock. So this is like a bird person right here, as you can see. And of course, this village has everything you want. The music is great again, just like all the other stuff, has everything. And like, it's just super, super cool because of the rock. That's probably the biggest part, because this staircase, you can just go up for, miles and miles. It's not really miles at all, but you can go up for a long time up this staircase, and there's buildings and little shelters and places on every single floor of the staircase, and you can just keep on going up, and you can just go up and up and up and up all the way to the top, and then all the way at the very top, there's actually a place where you can jump off with your paraglider, and you can have a lot of fun with that, just jumping off the highest point in Rito Village. So it's a really cool village. I like the wind and the bird theme of it. That's definitely really cool. And they have a shrine basically right, at the edge of the village, which is really, really cool. And there's kids playing around, there's people walking everywhere, and it's really, really cool to see just all these houses on the side, like there's just people everywhere, and it's really cool to see all this. And yeah, that's probably why Rito Village is at number 2 on my list. It's just a super, super cool village. If you've ever played The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, it is obvious what is the number 1 village in this game. The number 1 village is Terrytown. So this village is super, super cool because of the fact that you literally build everything in this village. It literally starts as this random platform in the wild, and you build it from the ground up. And that is the quest. That's what the quest is called. You build it from the ground up, and literally everything here you build. So you work with this construction worker dude, and you basically build all these buildings with wood. You give them supplies. You go across all of Hyrule, which is what the kingdom's called, and you hire people as like construction people, and they can do different jobs. Like there's this Goron here, there's Rito people here, there's Gerudo people here, there's Hylians here. There's a ton of really cool like people here. It has a variety of everything. There's a cool donkey here, which I just noticed. That's a pretty cool touch. And there's also dogs roaming the village. So this is a really cool village because of the fact that you build everything. And it feels so good when you finally like finish building all this, and you feel so accomplished because you finished. And at the start, it's literally just a piece of land in the middle of nowhere, and at the end it turns into this great looking, really cool village. So like I mentioned earlier, in Hateno Village, if you complete the quest where you buy your house, he gives you another quest where you can like basically go through the wilderness to find a place to settle Terrytown. So this is like the best spot to settle Terrytown, and you can basically just make this town. And a really cool thing that this town has is a specific village specific store. So basically, if you break like an armor or something, or if you want to buy armor, you can actually buy from this dude named Grayson, I believe, Grante. You can buy from this dude, and you can, like, if your Hylian shield breaks, which is like the main shield in Breath of the Wild, if it breaks, because it's not like invincible, it'll break sometime, you can actually buy it back here. So if you ever run out for 3,000 rupees, you can buy it and get it back so you won't lose it forever. So it's a really cool place, that shop. And another really cool thing is this place out here. It has like it's kind of like located on its own little like peninsula place right here. So it's surrounded by water, so nothing can really get to it. It's off the ground, you know, and it just looks really cool. Like there's this really cool bridge, which I don't know how it's really standing because there's nothing supporting it, but you know, that's video games for you. So it's really, really cool because, you know, you build this place from the ground up, as the quest is called, and just seeing it is really cool. The music is phenomenal. All the houses look great, and actually gives you 2 more side quests. After you complete this, there's 2 more side quests you get from this village, which is really, really cool, so you can do that. And yeah, I think it's obvious why this is the #1 village. It's just the best place to hang out, and I would gladly live here, especially after I built it myself. Like, definitely obvious #1 spot on my list. So yeah, Terrytown at #1. Alright, so that is all for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the ranking. Thank you all for watching Season X of my channel. Of course, you guys chose the videos on what to make, and I'm going to create them. Thank you guys for voting last season on all the videos. Thanks for all the support on that. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to the Tag Team if you haven't yet. If you don't know if you want to subscribe, go on ahead and watch a couple more of my videos, and then please consider hitting that subscribe button. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and as always, thank you for viewing. Goodbye, everyone. It almost feels like the developers just, you know, made this. Wow. Okay, that was interesting.